On a certain level, just as a layperson, you hear this, and it doesn't sound good. There's a guy whose name is John Robinson Walker. He gets $3 million from a Chinese space company and proceeds to wire it out to a bunch of people named Biden, one of whom is Hunter Biden. Another one is a company that belongs to the president's brother, James Biden, and another amount of money to Beau Biden's widow, Hallie. So, again, from a layperson, that doesn't look good.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about some pretty bombshell news that dropped overnight from Fox News, in which they strongly suggested that President Trump, former President Donald Trump, could be arrested at the command of super woke radical New York City DA Alvin Bragg in connection with the alleged illegal hush money payments made to Stormy Daniels by the Trump organization, along with his lawyer, Michael Cohen, in order to buy Stormy Daniels' silence before the 2016 election, because allegedly Trump was clapping those cheeks. Okay, he must have seen some of her movies, right? He liked what he saw and said, I gotta get a piece of that. Right? I gotta get in those cheeks. Okay, but yeah, allegedly that's what happened, right? Even though it's past the statute of limitations in New York to pursue these type of charges, we know that these radical Democrats want to do anything they can to try to take down Trump, but I think it's a little bit deeper than that when it comes to this situation right here. Because, I mean, let's be honest. This news is coming out at the same time that there's more bombshell information coming out about the Biden crime family and the business deals that they were doing with the Chinese Communist Party, in which the Biden crime family got paid handsomely.
Well, John, when you look at some of these payments here, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer claims subpoenaed bank records show President Biden's daughter-in-law, Haley, received $35,000 over two transfers in 2017. Haley is Beau Biden's widow, was also in a relationship with Hunter Biden after Beau had died. Comer says just before those transfers, a Chinese energy firm wired a family Biden associate $3 million. Comer says soon after that, the associate, Rob Walker, sent hundreds of thousands of dollars to members of the Biden family.
Everyone says it was for an energy deal. Well, it looks to me like these people who were closely aligned with the Chinese Communist Party sent $3 million to a shell corporation. Then they turned around and split it three ways, with a third going to the Biden family, three different family members for no apparent reason.
Now, much as this is from U.S. Treasury Department documents the House Oversight Committee's just reviewed, Comer says Walker initiated the transfers 2 months after Joe Biden left the vice presidency. Walker worked with President Biden's son, Hunter, and his brother, Jim, on a partnership with Chinese energy firm CEFC. His office has yet to name others involved.
But again, this is going to be the first actual criminal charge brought against Trump if it actually happens. And I want to talk about it because this is going to have some pretty significant ramifications and could possibly backfire in the Democrats' face in the worst way. So without further ado, let's go ahead and play this clip here. Fox News reporting on this, and then we're going to get into it.
Now, when we are learning that the Manhattan DA's office has asked for a meeting with law enforcement ahead of a potential Trump indictment. This is coming to Fox News from a source in the courts. The meeting, which was requested yesterday and has not been set yet, is to discuss logistics for sometime next week, which would mean that they are anticipating an indictment next week. The same source who's familiar with the planning said they will go over security preparations in and around the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Secret Service will take the lead in what they will allow or will not allow. The source cautioned, mentioning, for instance, that the decision to handcuff the president, a former president, or not, they will set the tone and will escort him into the courtroom. There will be coordination between all of us, the source said, but we will defer to the Secret Service. The battle will be between Secret Service and DA Alvin Bragg. They will decide how and when he'll get into the building, and they are not going to leave him. The source believes that the former president will still have to be fingerprinted and processed like every other defendant. So this is a huge development if Alvin Bragg has decided to go ahead with a felony indictment of the former president. This was a charge that the federal officials refused to prosecute on or even really pursue. This was a misdemeanor in New York that Alvin Bragg has decided to elevate to a felony, while at the same time downgrading other felonies to misdemeanors. So We'll be watching this to see how it all unfolds and get more information as it comes in. Sandra?
And John,
Yeah. So again, that tells you everything you need to know. Okay. You have a woke, overweight DA, right? Who's probably shooting for, I don't know, trying to become mayor in New York City or something. Okay. Maybe trying to be governor at some point, right? Again, maybe he's trying to become a hero of the Democrat Party, because that's exactly what would happen here. If he actually does this, he will become a hero. He will become a legend. Okay. And, you know, he's going after Trump by upping misdemeanor charges to felony charges when he usually does the exact opposite, right? I mean, this guy has been responsible for a lot of violent crimes and charges being dropped to misdemeanors, right? Felonies being dropped to misdemeanors in the name of social justice, okay? Because apparently, again, locking up, you know, so-called people of color is racist. But locking up, you know, the rich, you know, straight white male who used to be president of the United States with bogus, trumped up charges, right? It's totally fair, right? Totally fair game. Okay. Again, you see how the system works here, right? That's how it's supposed to work. That's the arguments that the woke use all the time, right? That's what we're supposed to say, right? It has to be because Trump is a straight white man. He's a Republican. He's a conservative. He's a president. This is why they are weaponizing the legal system against him in ways that they wouldn't do against people who are actual criminals, who committed actual acts of violence. They go soft on those people. They go hard on this guy, right? This is prime masturbation material for MSNBC, okay? I expect all of MSNBC's weekend / Monday leading up to Tuesday, because apparently that's the day that is going to happen, according to Trump, who's confirming this. But I expect MSNBC to be in full masturbation mode, okay? They're going to have the time of their lives, okay, over this report for the next 3 or 4 days, just for it probably not to happen. But I don't know, man. It seems like, who knows, this could actually happen. The left could get what they've always wanted to see, which is Trump arrested and perk walked out of Mar-a-Lago, because Trump came out here and basically suggested that, hey, he will be arrested on Tuesday in a new Truth Social post. So let's read a little bit about this. Donald Trump suggested on Saturday morning that he will be arrested Tuesday on charges relating to the $130,000 he allegedly paid in hush money to adult actor Stormy Daniels. The president also called on supporters to protest Take Our Nation Back in what commenters interpreted as a call to violence, in a vehement rant on his Truth Social platform hours after he shared his first post on Facebook since being banned following his incitement of the 2021 U.S. Capitol riot. Yeah, so clearly you can see the angle that Yahoo is writing from here. But as you can see here, okay, Trump is basically confirming that this is going to happen. Okay, now again, do we know if it's actually going to happen? We really don't know. And he's calling for protests, which, you know, is funny because we all know that the left is going to interpret that as a call to violence, okay? Which means that he'll probably lose his YouTube and his Facebook account once again because he just got reinstated, right? And you know that they're going to be very, 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 very sensitive with the Trump account. So him saying that probably means they're probably going to delete him once again. Who knows? Okay, who knows? But let's read here verbatim what Trump said. He said, now illegal leaks from a corrupt and highly political Manhattan district attorney's office, which has allowed new records to be set in violent crime and whose leader is funded by George Soros, indicate that with no crime being able to be proven and based on an old, fully debunked by numerous other prosecutors' fairy tale, the far and away leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States of America will be arrested on Tuesday of next week. Protest Take Our Nation Back. Yeah. So again, this is honestly, if Trump gets arrested, probably one of the best things that happen to him, right? I mean, from an election standpoint, from a winning in 2024 standpoint, because as Elon Musk says here, if this happens, Trump will be reelected in a landslide victory, which is 100% true, right? I 100% agree with that. If this happens, at the very least for the primaries, that is, Trump is going to be reelected. At least he's going to be the Republican nominee, that is. He's going to be the Republican nominee, no doubt, right? I mean, it already looks like that's going to happen anyways because DeSantis seems to be falling off, right? DeSantis was gaining some momentum on Trump in recent months. Maybe I would say 3 or 4 months ago. It looked like Trump's, flame was kind of fanning out, okay, and DeSantis was gaining momentum and more steam. But that seems to have kind of fizzled out, okay, because Trump is now extending his lead over DeSantis in new polls, right? In one, head-to-head matchup, Trump got 46% support among a hypothetical group of candidates compared with 32% for DeSantis. So, I think it's going to be tough for DeSantis, right? Who I think definitely is going to declare. Obviously, there's a whole lot of time, but again, this is bad news for him. Again, if Trump is arrested, that's going to fire up the base. That's going to fire up everybody in the Republican Party, and they're just going to unify and just go crazy. Okay, you're going to go crazy. Trump is definitely going to be the nominee. And again, it could be enough to put him over the top in 2024 against Biden. Could be enough. Now, Democrats want this to happen because they want Trump to be the GOP nominee, right? The Democrats believe that Trump is the most beatable GOP candidate in 2024. That's who they want, right? They want to face Trump. So this could be a plot from the Democrats to ensure that Trump is able to beat somebody like Ron DeSantis, who, in my opinion, I just don't think that he has enough real, ground-based support the way Trump does, right, in order to win, because DeSantis' whole thing is he hasn't really developed his own identity outside of being like a mini Trump, right? Oh, well, he's a safer, more controlled version of Trump. And I think a lot of people like Trump because he's not that, right? He's not super controlled all the time. He's shooting off the hip. He's off the cuff, he's authentic. And I think that dynamic, I think it's just something that a lot of people, if they had to choose between Trump and DeSantis, they're going to go with the original, right? They're not going to go with the discount guy. Again, even though I love DeSantis, I think that DeSantis being a controlled version of Trump is kind of what we need. But I think that ultimately when it comes to who people decide to vote for, when you get into that booth, you say, who am I going to vote for? I think a lot of people are just going to go with the real deal, man. Okay? And I think that's why DeSantis is not as likely that he's going to beat Trump. And I think that's why Trump is now extending the lead over him again, is because I think people are just kind of seeing, DeSantis as, well, he's just a mini version, right? I want the real thing. Okay? And Trump hasn't necessarily put his foot in his mouth lately, right? Like he usually does every few months or so. So again, I think that this is a situation that if it happens, it's a great thing for Trump. Because it shows that, again, he's being politically persecuted, right? Following the Mar-a-Lago raid, okay? The mainstream liberal media went crazy about that, right? Now he's, being arrested, okay, for, bogus charges, relating to Stormy Daniels, something that should have been solved a long time ago. Everybody's going to see this, again, as a rallying cry. And, again, it's going to guarantee he wins Republican primary. And it's going to probably be, a push for him to win a general election as well too. So again, this could end up backfiring on the Democrats. We'll see, but again, it is an interesting story that has developed. I still don't necessarily believe that it's going to happen, right? This is one of those things where they've been talking about Trump being perk walked and arrested for a long time, and we still haven't seen it happen yet, right? I'll believe it when I see it, right? When I actually see Trump in handcuffs, that's when I'll believe it. But until then, I'm going to say that, hey, I don't think this is going to happen, but if it does happen, again, all hell is going to break loose in regards to Trump's momentum going into 2024. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.